Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Rivals Podcast. It's been a little bit, but we're back and we're back for the playoffs. Eagles ended up being NFC East champions. Cowboys were second place. Giants actually made the playoffs too. And right now, as it stands in the divisional round, 3 out of the 4 teams are from the NFC East. The Commanders ruined the NFC Beast, so shout out to them. Um, I guess we can just say kind of. Well, I'll say my thoughts on the wild card later. What I want to know what your thoughts though are on the Eagles are going into this divisional matchup, and then we'll talk about
Well,
the wild card games.
I guess this is kind of the second best option that we could have had for wild or for this round. I would have liked to see the Seahawks win because one, I like the Seahawks, and two, I don't know, there would have been probably an easier matchup than the Giants. But we've played the Giants before and we beat them both times, so I've confidence, but there's always a chance that we lose. So, you know,
Time, but also I just want to say, shout out to this wild card weekend. Usually wild card weekend's kind of bad, honestly. Usually only one. This wild card weekend was pretty good actually. There was really only two games I guess you could say were bad, which was Bucks and Cowboys and Seahawks versus 49ers. And at least in Seahawks versus 49ers, they kept the game close. I was actually kind of like starting to be like, whoa. There's are the
no,
Se-
no, I disagree. I thought Seahawks and 49ers was entertaining. I thought Ravens and Bengals was less entertaining than Seahawks
well,
and
I mean,
49ers.
after the second half, the Seahawks just kind of got blown out at that
Yeah,
point.
that's true. That's true.
Ravens
Both.
versus Bengals was kind of boring because there wasn't a lot of points scored, but at least it was like close.
Yeah,
And the
I
Sam
think we
Hubbard,
both
right?
I think we both can agree that the Chargers and Jags game was the best of the week, as I expected it to be.
Yeah, yeah.
But
I actually had picked the Jaguars to win that game, and after Trevor Lawrence threw his fourth interception, I was like, I might have gotten this one wrong, but nope. The Chargers charged it, thankfully, and I got my pick right, which means that I'm now. How many games were there? Was it 6 for 6 in my
yeah,
playoff games? I picked the
wait,
49ers. Huh?
you were 6 for 6.
Let me see. I picked the Bengals. Obviously, I was kind of sweating in the Dolphins game because it
Oh
looked
yeah, no,
like
me
the
too.
Dolphins were about to upset the Bills. I picked Bengals. Obviously, I picked Bills. I picked Cowboys. Now, to be fair, I feel like you should always pick your team to win when it's the playoffs.
Yeah,
Even if you're the Seahawks, you should have picked the Seahawks to win. But I picked 49ers, obviously. I picked Bills. I picked Bengals. Those ones I all thought were locks, and they all didn't turn out to be. Chargers versus Jaguars was really tough for me, but since Jaguars had home field advantage, I did pick them. What were the other games? Cowboys Bucks. Obviously, I picked the Cowboys to win that one.
Giants and Minnesota.
Giants Minnesota. I did pick the Giants to win. I never had confidence in Minnesota throughout this, and after the 40-3 blowout against the Cowboys, I thought those guys were going to be first round exits, unless they
Yeah,
played the Seahawks. If they got the 2 seed, I would have picked them over the Seahawks, but they didn't. So I picked um, the Giants to win. There's an interesting thing. I think like for the past like 3 or 4 years, the 6 seed has beaten the 3 seed in the NFC. It's kind of a weird stat, but there's that.
yeah, no.
The,
On my hand for the playoff for my predictions, I was awful. See, I
uh,
picked based on not 100% skill. I picked a lot just based on like predicting upsets.
mhm.
So I feel like Jacksonville and Chargers. I feel like that was a bit of an upset,
Yeah, I think so
to
too.
be honest. So I picked Chargers there.
Hmm.
I picked Bengals and I picked Buffalo. So that's on AFC. That's 2 for 3, right?
Hmm.
I was kind of not expecting Chargers to lose there, but I don't think anyone.
Yeah,
For some reason, I went with a bold move. I just thought Seahawks were gonna win, so I did pick Seahawks. I also wanted them to go
I
up
like
against
that
the
pick.
Eagles.
I like the
So
pick.
I picked. I mean, I don't think that was a bad pick, but I mean, obviously they didn't win.
Yeah.
I picked Giants. I had pretty much confidence there, and then I also thought that Tampa Bay was going to beat Dallas just because Tom Brady
Uh,
was 7-0 against the Cowboys. So I was 3 for 6 on my playoff predictions.
see,
But this week,
wait, what were you gonna say?
I said this week I think I'll be
Better.
yeah, I think I'll be 4 for 4. With kind of an improvised bracket because I don't know how well you can see this. I have a picture of it. No. Oh, there we go. So obviously you can see my NFC side
You
is
had the Tampa Bay
different.
Buccaneers going all the way to the championship game.
Yes, I did.
Wow. So the bracket's
Um,
kind of messed up now, right?
yeah, it's messed up. So Tampa Bay obviously is Dallas is instead of Tampa Bay, and Giants play Eagles, and Niners play Cowboys. So this week I have Kansas City winning. Hopefully not, but hopefully, or assuming that they play like regular, they'll win.
Yeah,
I have Buffalo winning. I like
hmm
Buffalo, so I feel like that's kind of like the same thing. Like I kind of want to pick a team that I'm rooting for to win, so I picked that
I like the pick.
there, and that's not a bad pick.
Definitely
I
not.
have the Eagles winning. I think we should win this game,
Hmm
and I also have Cowboys winning. So
Okay, all
for
right.
this week,
So I guess I will give my picks real quick, and then we'll get into the wild card weekend review. Um, Jaguars versus Chiefs. I actually think this game is going to be closer than people think. The Jaguars are on a hot streak. I think their last loss, it was either the last loss or the second to last loss, was against the Chiefs. So it's been a while, but I'm still going to pick the Chiefs to win because they're just simply the better football team. But I will say this, if the Jags win, I will not be shocked at all. Doug Peterson is a great coach. I don't know why the Eagles got rid of him. Maybe a down season. I'm not sure. He's a good coach. He has good plays. That 4th and inches or 4th and 1 call against the Chargers was amazing. So I will not be surprised if they keep this game close. But they're playing in Kansas City. They're playing Mahomes. And I'm probably never going to not pick Mahomes to at least make it to the championship game. And my other pick my other AFC pick. I'm going to pick the Bills over the Bengals. I actually have seen a lot of people picking the Bengals to win this game. I don't get that necessarily. I think the Bills should be favored by at least like 6 points actually for this game. Maybe I'm wrong for saying that, but I think the Bills they're playing for a lot right now. So I have them going to the AFC Championship, which means we're gonna get a Chiefs versus Bills AFC Championship, which is gonna be pretty good.
that's
Um,
assuming that they played better than they did in a wild card round
the Bengals
because
also didn't play good. If you actually look at it, and this isn't like me being biased at all, the quarterback that had the best performance in Wild Card Weekend was probably Dak Prescott.
Dak Prescott.
I don't think it's biased, but neither of them looked
Or
too
no,
good,
honestly, Dak Prescott or Daniel Jones.
which is really weird to say that. But yeah,
Yeah.
they both had really good games. Uh, I don't think that either Burrow or Allen's going to have the same game they did last week. I think it's going to be a pretty high scoring affair. So yeah, and then on the NFC side, like I said, always pick your team to win in the playoffs. I'm going to pick the Cowboys to beat the 49ers. Always pick your team to win in the playoffs. And that means the Cowboys would advance to the first NFC championship since 1996. And then I have the Eagles beating the Giants, which means we're going to get a Bills versus Chiefs AFC championship and a Cowboys versus Eagles NFC championship, which I think those are going to be two really great games if it ends up
If
panning out that way.
yeah, if that's how I have it predicted as well. And if that's the case, I think it's gonna be pretty awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get into the wild card weekend review. So here we go. I'm gonna change up the template real quick. I have different templates for this. The first wild card game was the San Francisco 49ers taking on the Seattle Seahawks. The final score is 41-23 in San Francisco winning. That looks like it was a blow, but this game was actually really close for a pretty long time, right?
Yep.
And I think Seattle was actually even winning, right? And at the
They were
end of the second
winning.
half by a point,
Yeah, but it was 17-16, I think, at the end of the second half, something like that.
something like that.
Um, yeah, but anyway, I had faith. I was like, are they actually gonna like upset the 49ers here? And then the second half happens, so
It all just got bad really quick. The Niners scored on their first possession, and then the Niners scored on their first possession, and then Seattle got pretty deep into the 49ers territory, and then they fumbled or something like that, and then it just
yeah, I
kind
think
of
it was
all just went bad after that for the Seahawks. But Geno Smith actually didn't have that bad of a game. He threw one interception, but that's basically when the game was already over at that point. I'm looking at the stats right now. I'm gonna say this: I was not too impressed by Brock Purdy. If you just look at the stats, there's one thing, but if you actually watch the game, in my opinion, he got away with a lot of passes that could have easily turned into interceptions. I can name like at least 3 in the game that he got very lucky that did end up coming out as interceptions. There was like one where the first drive where the 49ers had to settle for a field goal that almost got intercepted. There's another one where Tyreek Woolen almost got his hands on it, and like he was also just forcing balls. I don't know if you saw that one play where like he threw it like over Brock Purdy like threw it over one defender, and there was like a linebacker that almost like killed his wide receiver. I don't know about you. You can say what you want. I wasn't too impressed by Brock Purdy. What about you?
I mean, it's kind of, for me, it was a bit hard. Like there were definitely a few like really like just I wouldn't say like bad passes, just like risky passes that he made over the game
Mm-hmm.
that they ended up getting lucky with. But like overall, I don't know. I think that like the team overall played pretty well. I mean, the defense was pretty crazy
Mm-hmm.
over the entire game. And
Definitely.
you got to also remember that the team is on a hot streak right now. Like they've won
Yeah.
like
11
11 or 12
games,
games.
including the
Yeah,
playoffs. Yeah.
yeah, in a row. So like, I mean, I feel like I don't know. I could see them winning this round pretty easily, but I don't know. Especially after this is the first half, I had faith in the Seahawks, or at least I had faith that the second half was going to be close. But
Kind of broke out. The thing is, has Brock Purdy played like an actual good defense in that 11 game stretch? I'm trying to think of the teams that he played. He played the Raiders. Their defense is awful. Let me check.
yeah, no Raiders.
They played the Cardinals. Their defense is awful. The Raiders, they have a pretty bad defense. The Commanders, they're okay, I guess. They played the Seahawks, obviously, bad defense. Buccaneers, pretty mediocre defense. Dolphins, they have a terrible defense as well. Saints actually had a pretty good defense. They stopped them to 13 points, but their offense was terrible that game. That game ended up 13-0. And
Yeah.
but Brock Purdy came in during the Dolphins game. I think this is probably the best defense that Brock Purdy is going to play throughout the entire playoffs.
Who,
Um,
Dallas?
Dallas, yeah. Unless the 49ers make the Super Bowl, I think that of the Eagles is going to be the best defense that he can hypothetically play against. And if he plays the way he did last week, I think he'll at least throw one interception. He got away with a lot of ones that could have easily been. And I think it's really weird how the Cowboys work their defense because, like, a lot of the times Diggs will actually move from wide receivers and stuff like that. Like, if they move wide receivers, sometimes they won't actually move him too. They'll keep him on the guys on and then trust, like, Jaron Curse or something to cover for him. But, I mean, Brandon Ayuk could be a wide receiver one on many teams, so it's going to be interesting to see because I don't know if you know about this, but, there's Trayvon Diggs, right? He's a good cornerback. And then it's like all the other cornerbacks are just, that's definitely something the Cowboys are going to address in this next coming draft. I do really want to see how Dan Quinn, our defensive coordinator, does work around that. But this game, in my opinion, was probably the worst wild card game. You said you thought Ravens versus Bengals was actually worse
Oh,
than
no,
this
no, no,
game.
no. No, no, no. I said, oh, yeah, no. Oh, wait, you thought Seahawks and 49ers were the worst game?
I thought this was the worst game. Yeah, I
Oh,
wasn't
no,
interested after the first half. I wasn't really interested.
no, no. I felt personally the worst wild card game was Tampa Bay and Cowboys. I don't think that it
Oh
was.
well, I'm a bit biased. I don't think that one was the worst
Yeah, yeah,
game.
that is true. But like, no, I guess I like a close game. Like,
For me,
unless it's
I
my
like close games unless it's my
unless
team.
it's my
Yeah,
team.
unless
Yeah,
it's
so
my team.
I guess for me, I didn't like the game as much, but that's just because I'm not a Dallas fan. So I guess it is bias and
Yeah, for
bias
me,
and
obviously, I mean, for me, Tampa Bay versus Dallas was the best wild card game, But that's just, and I bet if Giants versus Eagles is a blowout, that's probably going to be your favorite game too. But
No,
yeah,
I think if Bills win against Bengals, I think that I have a feeling that that might be my favorite game this week.
even if the Eagles just completely boat race
Oh no,
the Giants out of Philadelphia,
depends on the score, I guess. I don't know.
the
If
scoring's
it's
like
like
44-16 or something like
okay,
that.
okay, then yeah, that would probably be my favorite game,
That'd
but
probably
you
be your
know,
favorite. That'd probably be your favorite game.
probably yeah.
So,
I mean,
but
we'll have to see
would this be like the second worst wild card game in your opinion? Then,
which one.
this one, Seahawks versus.
No. I think this is. I actually I like this game. I think Ravens and Bengals was less entertaining to me than Seahawks and 49ers. But then that's probably where that falls. I mean, there's obviously like some like the other three games were very interesting,
Mhm.
and like they were kind of like the three bottom ones in my opinion. But you know,
Okay. Well, that's that wild card game. The next wild card game, probably in a lot of people's minds, the best wild card game there was this entire weekend, and we got on a Saturday too, which is pretty cool. Jaguars versus Chargers. Now, for the first half, this game was not interesting. This game was not all that great. Trevor Lawrence threw, I assume, a career high 4 interceptions in the first half alone, and I was like, he's going for 8. He's trying to set a record. But that's not how it ended out. The Chargers did come back. Did you see this happening? I mean,
Uh, Before the game, no. But when what was it? What was the score? After when they
after the first half, it was 27-0.
yeah 27-0. So I was like after Jaguars scored their first touchdown in the third quarter.
Mm-hmm.
I could see I saw a comeback coming, and I was a bit shocked when it actually did happen, but you
Mm-hmm.
know I didn't put it past them.
The moment I actually thought it might happen, I don't know if I'm watching, it's when Trevor Lawrence did that like that like really deep pass that where like his wide receiver was like wide open. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah, no,
I
I
think it
know.
was Evan Ingram. Was wide
Yeah,
open.
of course it's Evan
It was
Ingram.
Evan Ingram, wide open, and I think that made the score like 20 because they didn't get the extra point. 20 to uh 27 because that or no 20-30, and I was like they might do it. And then the ending, I especially like the last couple minutes where the Jaguars go for it on 4th and 1 with that like
Yeah,
really weird formation where there was like 3 backs or something like that behind Trevor Lawrence, and
yeah.
Travis Etienne runs it, I want to say, for like 20-30 yards. Um,
Mhm. No,
uh,
30. I think it's 33 yards.
33
Not sure.
yards, really.
Yeah,
But yeah, that was a all time great moment, honestly.
maybe
And
it
then
was.
the kick, and then it was like really weird because there was a flag at the very end, and I was like, oh, because like there's no way that they called against the Chargers because there's no reason to because the game's over
Yeah,
either way. I thought, oh, it's gonna be on the Jaguars, and said no, it was on the Chargers, and like even the announcers was like, I don't believe that. Like, why would you throw the
yeah,
flag?
no.
It doesn't matter at that point. The game's over. Um,
Mhm.
and did you see Joey Bosa's interview after the game where he was like really
No.
mad? He was like cussing and stuff. He was saying the refs screwed them over, and he said the refs were probably excited that he ended his team's season. I don't know if you saw, there was a pretty controversial no hold call on Joey Bosa near the end of the game,
Hmm.
and but either way, even with all that controversy out of the way, if you told me before the beginning of the season that the Jaguars were going to win a playoff game at home, they were going to win their division. I get it, the NFC South's terrible, but win their division. Even at the beginning of the season, like when they were like 3-7, you told me they were going to win a home playoff game against the Chargers, I would not have believed you, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, you're right.
and I was saying like if the Cowboys don't win a playoff game and the Giants and Jaguars do this season, I don't know what I'm going to do. Do you think that this game makes like the Jaguars a threat in any way against the Chiefs?
No, just because I feel like they would be a threat if they were up against like Bengals or
Mm-hmm.
like even Bills maybe, but I don't know. I feel like Chiefs they're gonna be like they didn't play last week,
Mm-hmm.
so I mean it's been a bit since we've seen them play.
Mm-hmm.
But Chiefs are pretty unstoppable. I feel like at this point, I feel like especially now that they've figured out like their a lot of the problems that they've had this season they figured out like their receivers have always been like their actual wide receivers are always like mid. They're not that good. Like Juju Smith-Schuster's already, and who is the other one? Valdez Scanling or
And they
whatever.
just got, who's the Giants wide receiver they picked up? Um,
Um,
was it Kenny Galladay?
it's,
No, was it Kenny Galladay? I don't know who it is, but they did
um,
pick up a Giants wide receiver, right?
yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. I'm trying
Do they
to.
have like is Juju Smith Schuster their
Oh,
wide receiver one?
Kadarius Tony. That's
Kadarius
it is.
Tony, yeah. Is Juju the wide receiver one of that team? Is he kind of
Yeah,
well?
the wide receiver.
If
Well,
you
I
want
mean,
to
the wide
say
receiver one is
Travis
Travis Kelsey,
Kelsey,
but
the receiver one
the
is
receiver one, yeah, receiver
Travis
one
Kelsey,
is Travis Kelsey.
and
But
that's
but
gonna
another
focus
thing
on
that
this. Hmm?
another problem that they had this season that they kind of figured out was their whole back situation. Like they were starting Clyde Edwards-Helaire in the beginning of the season, and then then they like then I think he went on IR, so they just started using
A bunch of dudes.
their other two. They use Pacheco, Isaiah Pacheco, and uh what's his face? The other guy. Who's the
Isaiah
other guy?
Pacheco's pretty good, I think, right?
He's pretty. He's been pretty good. I had him on my fantasy team, so I've been looking at him a bit more like.
He's number 10, I
close.
think, for them, right?
Yeah, he's 10, and then but they're number one. I'm trying to remember his name. Oh, Jarek McKinnon.
Oh, that's
Um,
McKinnon. Yeah.
he's he's actually a good receiver for them too. He's been catching a lot of their touchdown passes.
No,
But
I remember Clyde Edwards-Helaire kind of had a good start to the season, and he just kind of like
he
fell
had a
off
good
after
start.
that.
But yeah, no. After like week 4, he was quite.
He was the guy that caught that really fluky touchdown pass against the Buccaneers. I don't know if you remember that.
No, I do because I also had Clyde Edwards-Helaire on my fantasy team, so I was
Really?
I,
Clyde
yeah, I
Edwards-Helaire
went.
on a fantasy team's crazy. All
Well,
I'm
I mean,
saying,
I dropped him after like week 7.
did you see that like people were saying this? Did you see that like Statue of Liberty pass or whatever they call it that Daniel Jones gave to Saquon during the Vikings game, where like he like put
Yeah,
it in
that
his
was
left
awesome.
hand? I'm just
Yeah,
saying, if Patrick Mahomes did that, okay, everyone would be talking about it right now, in my opinion
yeah.
at least. But it was Daniel Jones. No one cares. Um, this game definitely the best wild card game. Something that I didn't realize. I heard it like once the Jaguars won. They play like Sweet Home Alabama in their stadium when they win games, like every single
Does the
time.
Giants?
Huh?
Who does the Giants?
No, the Jaguars. They play Sweet Home Alabama every single time they win a home game. I just realized that like they won, and I just heard the music and I was like, what the heck? Why are they playing this song? It's not even Alabama, but yep, they started playing that. All I'm saying is if Trevor Lawrence throws 4 interceptions and the Chiefs go up 27-0 against them, the Jaguars will not come back against the Chiefs. They'll lose by like 60 if that happens. So Trevor Lawrence definitely has to take care of the ball in this game. I think part of that is that coming out of college, I don't mean this to be like a negative thing, but like I feel like he has like kind of like an arrogance when he throws the ball. I feel like he thinks like, and like I said, if he throws 4 interceptions, they're not coming back against the Chiefs. The Chiefs will absolutely blow the doors off them. So Lawrence has to be more protective with the ball. He's also fumble prone. He's fumbled a couple times. The Jaguars need to probably play the best game they played all season if they want to win this next week. They can't rely on a team just all of a sudden being terrible. I feel bad for this one dude named Asante Samuel on the Chargers. He had an all-time
I
playoff
know.
performance. 3
Yeah.
interceptions in 1 playoff game is crazy. Which there's actually a certain time in the game where Asante Samuel had more completions than any Jaguars wide receiver, which was really funny. But I feel terrible for him. He had an all-time playoff performance, and it was squandered by Brandon Staley and the Chargers. Just terrible run game in the second half. They were getting nothing done in the run game in the second half. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's the O-line, but there was absolutely like nothing going on with the run game in that game. Anyway, you
I,
got any?
I, I'm just cracking up.
What you're cracking
I'm
up
just
at?
thinking. I'm just thinking about like after the game, like all of the Chargers just kicking rocks. They're up 27-0 in a playoff game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they ended up
Jeez.
losing.
I mean, like,
Like,
what if you're the coach, right? What do you say, like after that?
what do you say? I don't know, but
I feel like they're gonna be looking at you, be like, "Hey, bro, what happened to the coach?" Like you, like
yeah, we're up 27-0, and like we're up against a bad like a yeah not
an
the
AFC South team in the
an
playoffs.
AFC South team. Yeah, no, not a bad team, just an AFC South team.
You never, yeah, losing to an AFC South team is something that's inexcusable, especially in the playoffs, right? I mean,
Hmm.
worst division probably. You lose to them, and I mean, like they're up 20. You're up 27-0. Like you won the game. I just don't understand like how it happens. Did you see like that one image where it's like the Falcons and Chargers logo combined?
Yeah,
You saw that?
I saw that. Yeah.
Everyone was. I even like posted like, "Oh, playoff Trevor Lawrence is crazy," like on like Instagram or something. And everyone like started saying like, "Oh, you're an idiot," because like they came back. By no means Trevor Lawrence had a great game. He just had a good second half. It was like Kirk Cousins when he came back against the Colts, like terrible first half, amazing second half. But Trevor Lawrence needs to play like second half Trevor Lawrence in the first half against the Chiefs if they want to win this game. But yeah,
Here, let me find this.
is there
I
a
had
certain
I
stat or
just
something crazy like that or what?
no, I don't have the stat. I just have oh yeah, here it is.
Okay, what is it? There it is. There it is. And the Falcons aren't even good enough to make the playoffs to warrant that picture either. So they're
Yeah,
probably
no.
not going to get another picture. I want Justin Herbert to become like the villain of the NFL next season after this loss.
Really?
Yes. And I kept saying it's like Justin Herbert doesn't deserve this torment. He doesn't deserve to be a Charger. Like,
Yeah, no, no.
I heard someone say, I forgot who said this, but the Chargers play like they have Tua as their quarterback, and the Dolphins play like they have Herbert at their quarterback. I just Herbert should be averaging like 15 yards per like completion or something. He has one of the best arms I've ever seen in the NFL. And like I don't want to see him like throwing like I don't like dinking and dunking. I really hate it, and I want to see just people just sling that thing down the field like all the time. And the Chargers don't do that, and it really makes me mad because they have one of the best arm talents like ever, and they're just not using his arm. But yeah, anyway, that's that game. Chargers versus Jaguars. The first game, I fell asleep during this game. I was very tired in the morning, but it is Dolphins versus Bills. The Bills were up like 17-0. I fell asleep for like 10 minutes and I woke back up.
That's so funny. I fell asleep during this game too.
And then I wake up and it's like the Dolphins get a fumble on Josh Allen. They pick it up and they're up all of a sudden 24 to like 21. What do you think happened? Why do you think this game was so close?
I think just a lot of feel like a lot went wrong for the Bills. I mean, it was in their control, obviously. I mean, they could have just
Played
not
bad.
done it. Yeah, not done it like that, but they did.
Hmm.
So but I feel like a lot of it was just getting really, really unlucky situations. But
Really unlucky situation with them, or just Josh
yeah,
Allen
I
throwing
mean,
bad passes?
no, I don't know. I wouldn't blame it on Josh Allen 100% though. I don't know what I would really blame it on, but I don't think it was 100% his fault. But he did make a few like very iffy passes in the game, and just like
Hmm.
overall the I don't know. I didn't think it was like it didn't it's not scaring me that the Bills are like gonna get out in the next round. Like I don't think that I
It
think
doesn't scare you
this
enough
is
to where you think they're like really in trouble or something like that,
yeah,
or
no.
like so.
Yeah, I still think that they can beat the Bengals.
Think so. Um, for me, it was just more like I kept watching this game and like Josh Allen, he's a great passer, obviously, right? Really great. But like he'll do something really like good, cool, and stuff like that. But then it also just are like the worst pass of all time. I've seen it happen in like the Bears game they had, and it just like it's really confusing. Like he does like crazy stuff all the time. He consistently does crazy stuff. But then like you'll just see him like throw like a really bad pass, and it was really weird watching this game because like they're up right like they're like up by like 10 I think during the game, and then like it's like a 3rd and 1 and they do a Hail Mary pass. It's like, and I think that's because they don't have a run game outside of Josh Allen. I think that's the reason why. Because Devin Singletary, they need to get a running back. Devin Singletary
No,
just doesn't look like it's going to be the guy. Why would you dial up a Hail Mary pass on a 3rd and 1? Like I just.
well, I feel like they had to start using Naeem Hines more. I mean,
Do
they've
you
been
think he's
using
that guy?
I think he is personally. Like I don't like James Cook. I don't think James Cook is good for them. Like they've been trying to use him, but he hasn't been doing anything. And
Was he the
Devin
one that got
Singletary,
was he the one that did the kick return? I forgot who that was.
no, that's Naeem Hines.
It was Naeem Hines. They got the okay. Cool. Just making
Yeah,
sure.
no, James Cook hasn't done anything.
Anything.
In my opinion,
Hmm.
but and I think Devin Singletary is just all right. Like he's just average. He's nothing special. But
Like a good
Naeem
RB
Hines,
two or what?
yeah, no RB2, but Naeem Hines, I think he needs to take a bigger role in this team because I don't know, he has a lot of potential. I feel like, and they just traded for him too, so it's not like they have him and they haven't been using him. Like no, they kind of just got him in week maybe like 9.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Well, see, that's my biggest problem with the Bills. That's why I really wanted the Bills to get CMC when he was on the open market, is because they haven't really had a run game outside of Josh Allen these past couple seasons, and I think that's really going to hinder them. You know, like you
No,
don't
no.
want to dial up a third, like on 3rd and 1. You don't want to be in a situation where like you have to feel like you have to pass on a third and
Yeah.
one. You know, all right,
Hmm.
that was it was terrible because like I think that got intercepted too as well, because it was just like kind of like a Hail Mary pass. They just kind of like, oh well, here
No,
we go, and then they got
I
intercepted.
don't. I don't think he got intercepted. Actually, I think it looked like it was going to get intercepted, but I don't know if it
I
did.
know.
Maybe it did.
Maybe it wasn't the
Maybe,
3rd and 1, but I do know they did throw like a Hail Mary in that, because
yeah,
I think
and
Josh
that
Allen
got
threw
it.
two picks this game, right?
Mhm,
And
mhm,
then one fumble that was recovered by the defense. So,
mhm.
um,
But listen, even the best quarterbacks are allowed to have off games, so I trust
oh,
that
but
they'll
Dak
do.
Prescott isn't allowed to have an off game though, right? But I will say this. Something actually weird is that in the 3 years that the 7th seed has existed, the Bills have played them twice, and both times it was a close game. The Bills played the 7th seed Colts in Buffalo, and that was a close game. The score was 27-24. And then this game, they played the 7th seed Dolphins, and that score was what? It was 31-34. So both times they've played the 7th seed, they've only won by 3 points.
Yeah.
So maybe that's an underrated rivalry, Bills versus the 7th seed. But
Bills versus 7th seed.
It's a toss-up game. You never know what's going to happen. The fact that Skylar Thompson had like a 44 passer rating and they still almost won this game is the thing that shocks me the most. Like, how does that happen? Like, he had a 44 passer rating and they still almost blew this game. That is just unheard of. But the Bills, they got everything. I'm not gonna judge you if you win in the playoffs, especially if you win the Super Bowl. Like, if that's all that really matters is winning. But I the Bills definitely have to clean it up if they want to be able to beat the Bengals next round. So
yeah, definitely. All right. What was the other match? Giants and
Vikings is the next match.
Vikings is next.
You can talk about this one if you want to. Talk about how the Vikings were
Yeah.
frauds the entire time or whatever.
Well, I mean, like I said earlier, I think that Daniel Jones and Dak Prescott probably had like maybe is leaning Dak, but honestly, Daniel Jones had the bottom line is Daniel Jones had a very good week this week.
Definitely.
And he threw for what, like 330 yards or something?
Yeah, I think he like 303 yards. I think it was like really close, but yeah. I think it was like 301. You can look up the stats if you want to.
Yeah, but
I'll look them up.
But 301 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And then one, I think, did he get a rushing one in? Let me see. He threw for 301 yards, 2 touchdowns, and that is it. 301 yards, 2 touchdowns, completed 24 for 35 of his passes.
But I mean, like, I was just impressed because there were a lot of like just like good plays that the Giants had. Like you also said earlier, like the Saquon, what was it, the Statue of Liberty?
Statue of Liberty pass. Called it. Yeah,
that was good. And I don't know. I didn't actually watch this game, but I did see some of the highlights. So I did get to see. Wait, hold on. Sorry, I'm distracted by this. I was looking at his stats and I noticed Tyrod Taylor is the Giants quarterback too.
The GOAT of quarterback 2, Tyrod Taylor. The GOAT.
That's crazy. All right. Anyway. The Vikings. I don't think that they had. Their team was so like they either had a really good game or a really bad game this season, and
yeah, their 4 losses were all blowouts. Like,
yeah, complete blowouts. So
you and me both know that.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like they were kind of the biggest sham in the NFL this year, being 13-4. Like,
worst 13-4 team of all time. Worst 13-win team of all time is a better way to put it, because there's never actually been a 13-4 team because of the recent what's it called? 17 game season.
Week 17 ad, yeah.
Yeah. But they beat up on a bunch of bad teams, and they got they were like, it was weird. They had a negative point differential. It's like
yeah.
You're a 13-win team. You have a negative point differential, really?
It's by 3 points, but still, like, it should not be that close if you're 13-4. Like,
if you're 13-4,
that just goes to
you
show
should
you
be
how bad the blowouts were. Like,
40-3 is crazy. That's all I'm saying.
It is
40-3 is, and they got blown out by what? The Packers, the Lions, the Cowboys and Eagles. And it's kind of funny. Their one game, because they were undefeated in 1-score games this entire year, and the one game they lost that was 1 score was the playoffs. So like literally the worst time for it to happen. That's but that's the Vikings for you. The Vikings have always been like this. The Vikings fans will never feel happiness. We all know this. This is just how it's always been. Even when you have the best wide receiver in the league, which did you see the final play they did? Like a check down pass to T.J. Hawkinson on a 4th and 8,
Uh,
and there's gonna be a lot of narratives about Kirk Cousins. He actually didn't play bad this game,
no, definitely not.
but just really bad final just play to end your season. A 4th and 8 pass and you don't throw it to Justin Jefferson. I don't care if every single defenders on him. You really gonna throw the T.J. Hawkinson out of all people? I don't know. The Giants have finally won a playoff game, which, by the way, the last time they won a playoff game was the Super Bowl in 2012. Since then they've either been one or done or they won the Super Bowl. That was actually Eli Manning's entire career. He was either one and done in the playoffs or he won the Super Bowl. So the Giants going to make a miracle Super Bowl run and win the Super Bowl? I'm just saying, ever since 2008 or something like that, the Vikings, the Giants have either been one and done or they won the Super Bowl. So, did you think this was a good game? What did you think about it?
No, I thought it was entertaining. I didn't watch it personally, but I saw some of the highlights. A lot of the plays that honestly both teams made were kind of, hold on, that sentence was first. A lot of the plays that both the teams made were impressive, and I am a bit upset that it was not it felt like a Giants blowout, even though whoops. It kind of wasn't.
Well, I think the Giants were up basically the entire game. I don't know if they were ever down by a score, right?
Yeah, but the ending score was literally came down to a 1-score game. So
not
it wasn't a blowout, but it I don't know.
I had fun watching the game. The funny thing is Daniel Jones had more rushing yards than Saquon Barkley. So, what Daniel Jones had 70 yards, I think, and then Saquon had 50 something. I think Saquon's a top 5 back right now, so.
No, in the league, I think he's top. In my opinion, probably who's the best back? Austin Eckler, CMC, Josh.
I think right now maybe. CMC could be the best back in the league right now, but
he could be. But I know I think Austin Eckler, CMC, Josh Jacobs, then probably Saquon.
And probably Saquon. Okay. He's really good. But in my opinion, I think Brian Daboll should win Coach of the Year.
No doubt.
What he's done with this Giants team is incredible. Daniel Jones has had a good year for his standard. It's still not it's an amazing year, but I think Brian Daboll should win the Coach of the Year, and I think him winning at least a playoff game kind of locks it up because I had the Giants going 5-12 or something at the beginning of the year. A lot of people did. I don't think anyone had them going to the playoffs or at least winning a playoff game.
And where did they go in the regular season?
9-7-1. Yeah.
That's good. No one expected that, but also no one expected the Commanders to almost make the playoffs as well. But
if they had just won against the Browns, if they put, just saying, if they put Taylor Heineke in against the Browns, I think they win that game. But
Carson Wentz is a backup quarterback. He's
for life.
No more,
Carson Wentz is a backup. He's gonna be holding the clipboard for the rest of his life. You think?
Yeah. No. I don't like him. I think Taylor Heineke's better. As much as I don't like I don't like Taylor Heineke.
Why? Because
I like him. I like him a bit less because he beat us.
First team to beat you. Damn.
Yeah, that was just sad to watch some of the calls there, but it is what it is.
How did you feel when was it Brandon Ingram? I don't know who it was. That hit him. He stands up. He starts going like this, and then they draw the flag. That essentially ends the game.
Yeah, no, I thought that call was kind of bullshit because it's okay, what did he slide?
He slid. I don't even know. Oh no, he just kind of sat down, right? And he just kind of sat down.
Yeah, whatever he did, it was okay, he did it at the last second. You already have this guy who is probably 300 pounds or close to it coming in. He's already diving, right? He's already going to make the tackle, and he does it at the last second, and he makes a call how is the Eagles guy supposed to stop and just get up and just not it didn't make sense to me that listen, I think that call was a bit bullshit, and also who is it?
The Dallas Goedert call or whatever.
The Dallas Goedert face mask.
And then Quez Watkins fumbling.
And the Quez Watkins fumble. No, he didn't fumble. I think it was just incomplete, right?
Who was the one that got it was a fumble, right? Was it Quez Watkins?
It was Quez Watkins, yeah.
All I'm saying is the Eagles, that a very winnable game for the Eagles, but it
Yeah.
was a great day for me personally. But like that's just me. Anyway, let's get to the Sunday night game, and that was Bengals versus Ravens. There was a little while in this game I actually thought the Ravens were actually going to pull it out. When it was like
Yeah.
tied 17-7, I mean, you know about the Sam Hubbard, like, 98. Yeah. When the Ravens got like to the 3, and there was like, I think it was like in the fourth quarter, and like they were about to QB sneak in, I thought they were going to win the game for sure. Then they fumble it. And this is, I think they fired the Ravens offense coordinator because
Yeah, they did.
apparently every single time they ran that play they did where they fumbled on every single time they ran that play. They ran that play apparently 3 times in the season. They fumbled each time. I know Ravens fans are gonna shouldn't feel bad about this game because they knew they were probably gonna lose, but losing like this, I know has to hurt. Even though you weren't supposed to win, you're supposed to get blown out.
Yeah.
This game was pretty boring. See, look, my opinion, I think Joe Burrow is a bit overrated when it comes to the playoffs. Okay, in his entire playoff run last year, he kind of got lucky, especially against the Titans when Ryan Tannehill threw like a bad interception with like a minute left, so the Bengals got easy territory against the Raiders. The botched call when he threw the touchdown pass, but the play was already dead. In the AFC Championship, Patrick Mahomes just suddenly becoming the worst quarterback in the league in the second half. And in the Super Bowl, he had like 5 opportunities to put the game away and didn't. I'm still waiting to see a game where Burrow takes over. Okay, a playoff game where Burrow takes over, and he didn't this game. The only reason why they won is because of Sam Herbert's 98-yard fumble return for a touchdown. If the Ravens put that one in, I don't think the Bengals get away. The Ravens, I think defensively, have played the Bengals probably the best all season. And I get it. It's a divisional game. These games are always weird. These teams know each other, but like, do you really better lose to Tyler Huntley? Like, I don't know. What do you think about the performance
No,
in this game?
but no, I think Tyler Huntley's like not that. I don't think he's that bad, honestly. I kind of see him as like
If Lamar was in this game,
just
they would have lost.
a
Just saying.
worse. Oh yeah, no, definitely not. But I just see him as like a slightly worse version of Lamar, to be honest with
Well,
you.
the thing is, like, all the Ravens quarterbacks are like bad versions of Lamar because their offense is like centered around Lamar. They need to have like a running
Yeah,
quarterback. And
yeah, that's
that is
true.
Tyler
That's true.
Huntley. But let me look their stats. Tyler Huntley, 17 for 29, 226 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Burrow, though, 23 for 32, only 209 yards and only 1 touchdown. It's just like, I wasn't impressed. The run game wasn't good. Joe Mixon only had 39 yards. They basically had a non-existent run game. Not a single one of the receivers had more than 100 yards. I don't know, man. I just don't think it was that good of a performance for the Bengals. They're just lucky that the Bills didn't have a good
Mhm.
performance either. I think the Bills have a good performance against the Dolphins. The Bills are majorly favored, I think, going into this next game.
Mhm.
I mean, do you think if the Ravens punched that one in at the end, that they would have won this game if they don't fumble and it
Oh,
doesn't
well,
recover?
before the 90, yeah, before that, it's hard to say because I feel like the Bengals could have,
Finally woken up.
used, yeah, well, yeah, actually woken up, but you know, um, I don't know. I think that I feel like a lot of the reason the Ravens did well this game was because their mascot Poe came back on from IR. I mean,
Okay.
that was that was a
That
big
was a pretty
reason.
good moment when that happened, like during halftime or whatever,
Yeah,
when Poe came out, like took off the
Poe.
cast, and then
That
everyone was like,
I'm
ah.
sorry that was my favorite part of the game. I thought that was so funny.
Well, I
I don't
remember
know.
like Poe got injured, and then like their coach at the beginning of the season was like, yeah, he's been put on IR, he'll be out for the season. I was like, no. But I mean, this is like the same story for the Ravens both seasons. Their star quarterback get injured, and they lose a bunch of the games at the end of the season. It's like, is Lamar like gonna be? Do you think Lamar's gonna be like sustainable? He's been injured the past 3 years. The Ravens haven't won a playoff game since like 2020. I mean, it's like,
Yeah.
is this sustainable? I just don't know. And if they do get a new quarterback,
Well,
their offense
I
has to
I
go through
think
massive rehaul. Like,
yeah, I don't think Lamar is going to stay on the
do you think he's
Raiders.
played his last game as a
Ravens.
Raven?
I think I think that it's 50-50 with him, to be honest with you. I don't know. Speaking of Raiders, he could go on the Raiders because I think either we're going to see Tom Brady or Lamar Jackson on the Raiders next
I
year.
think
That's a hot take.
I think Derek Carr. is going to go to the Jets, right? So where does Lamar fit in then? If Brady goes to the Raiders, and Carr goes to the Jets, and if Lamar doesn't stay with the Ravens, where does he go? The Lions, like.
Oh.
Because Jeff Goff kind of had a bounce back season. I don't know if you want to.
What about is Deshaun Watson still gonna play in the NFL? The Browns need to
I think they're gonna roll with Groper Cleveland. I think they're gonna roll with him. So I just don't know his destination point really. And the bad thing is, he's gonna ask for a lot of money for whatever team goes with him. So.
All right. So where's the last one? We're at Tampa Bay and Cowboys, right?
The best playoff game. Monday Night Football. They always want to put us on the last game so everyone can see us, right? Well, let me just say, Dak Prescott had his best performance of his entire career at the correct time. 5 touchdowns, 4 passing, rush for 1, threw how many? 0 interceptions. Look, I was actually shocked by how many people said that this game was a toss-up. The Buccaneers are terrible. They've had the worst run defense all year. They just haven't looked like they've had the past. They were 8-9. They didn't even have a winning record, and the only reason why they made the playoffs is because they played in the horrid NFC South, who will probably have a negative winning. A team that's under 500 into the playoffs next year as well. The Buccaneers were just simply outclassed in this game. If you looked at Tom Brady, it was great. He just looked like befuddled. Like he looked like. Just they had no answers for whatever was going on, and Dak just kind of did whatever he wanted to against the Buccaneers defense. It was actually funny. They brought up the fact that Tom Brady has never thrown a red zone interception as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. Literally, the next play throws a red zone interception, and that was great. And I think that just completely just ruined everything the Buccaneers had going for them. If they get a touchdown on that drive, maybe the game ends differently. But they get intercepted. And then the Cowboys go up 14-0. No, they don't go up 14-0. They go up 12-0. Shout out to the kicker, Brett Maher, Money Maher, who he's been great all season. He's been great all season and was terrible that game.
Probably the worst overall performance from a kicker that we saw this year. Right?
Yeah, it has to be. He broke a record. He broke an NFL record and missed point. He technically had five in a row because he missed his 1 extra point against the Commanders in Week 18, and then he missed 4 here. I don't get it. He made back-to-back 60-yard field goals against the Vikings, but he couldn't make a damn extra point. Like
4 extra points.
You can't do that against a 49ers or an Eagles. Or heck, maybe even the Giants. You can't do that against those teams. I don't know what happened.
If that's happened in this week, I mean, you guys are screwed. At least it was against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
We did sign another kicker, so I think if Brett Maher misses his first extra point, they're gonna sit him out and put the other kicker in. I mean, I trust Brett Maher more from 60 yards than I do from 30. Like he's. Fun fact, Brett Maher has never missed an extra point from 60-plus yards. But he's missed, a bunch of extra points. I just don't get it. Money Maher's about to be in freaking McDonald's because he sucks. There was, so many memes and stuff, like POV, the Cowboys kicker trying to get into the Cowboys facility after Monday, and it's like, oh, my God. I don't know, man. All I know is that... I want him to be on the team still.
My internet just went out.
Huh? Your internet just went out?
Yeah. I just paused for a second. Anyway.
He's been so good all season. He's been so clutch for us all season. He won us the game against the Bengals, and I was at that game, so I have a personal connection to him because I watched him beat the Bengals for us. But it's like, if this is how you're gonna be in the playoffs, if you're just not confident in yourself, I don't know what it is. You're gone. I'm sorry. You can't be on my team anymore. If he misses his first extra point, they're probably going to bench him and put in the other kicker that they signed this week from the Patriots or something. Yeah. You're an NFL kicker. I get you miss times, but 4, it's
4 in a row in a playoff game. Yeah, I don't know.
You want to say
They're not
anything about Dakota Prescott? Do you want to apologize to him or something real quick right now? Or
you know, you know, I've been hating, but you know,
there's a
I
respect,
can't, I
put
can't,
respect
I
on
can't,
four.
I can't deny he had a good game. That's all I gotta say.
You know,
Um,
Jalen Hurts has never won a playoff game. Do you think he's gonna get his first one?
he's about to.
He's
He's
about
about to.
to. He's about to.
He's about.
Dak Prescott now moves up to 2-3 in the playoffs. Hopefully he can move up to 3-3 and get that nice 500 record in the playoffs. But what I will say is, if Dak can play like that every single game, I think we have a good shot. And if he like keeps playing like that, how he did in that playoff game, I think he can easily move up to like consensus top 10. Right? I think he is top 10, but I think he can be like consensus top 10. The turnovers were kind of weirdly high this season, but in my opinion, I think interceptions are one of the most overrated stats in sports because they're like the only sample of throws that like people look at for Prescott. He's made a bunch of other throws that are really good, and people just like look at interceptions. I think interceptions are a pretty overrated stat, but yeah, he threw like 15 or something like that this season. I get it, but I also like another stat. I don't know if it's true where like he's not even top 10 in turnover worthy plays. So I don't really know, but what do you think about that?
Um, wait.
Hmm?
Hold on.
Prescott better than Hurts. Yeah, it is. But
Okay. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Hmm?
I just completely X out of this where I did not. Okay. No, I think listen. I'll say this. I think if it comes down to if it comes down to Eagles and Cowboys in the conference championship or whatever, I think that there's a possibility that Prescott could be better than Hurts, but I don't know if that means that the
I just
Cowboys
want to
win.
say,
I think
are you worried if it's a Cowboys versus Eagles NFC
oh, of
Championship?
course. I'm worried that we're up against the Giants this
Really?
week. So
Okay.
yeah, I'll be worried. I feel like I'd be worried about any team. So maybe like the Texans.
Okay. Well, I'll say is the only team that let's say you're worried than more. Uh, would you be worried more if you played the 49ers or the Cowboys? Who do you think you'd be worried about?
49ers would be more worried about
Be
easily.
more,
Yeah.
but the
Cowboys
second team you'd be worried about most is probably the Cowboys,
at
right?
this at this point that's the only other well at least on the NFC side. AFC side I'd be listen, out of the teams that are left, this is who I'd be worried about so Chiefs, Bills, Bengals, then 49ers, Cowboys, Giants, Jacksonville.
Well,
That's kind of my
like we beat it. I'm not really worried about the Bengals because we kind of beat them with our backup quarterback. But the Bengals low difficulty, But um,
Mhm.
I don't want to get myself too hyped because the 49ers and Cowboys were actually kind of in the same scenario. They both just beat the two worst teams in the playoffs by a pretty wide margin. Which, by the way, the score of the game is of Cowboys versus Bucks isn't even as close as it looks because like they got a garbage time touchdown. It really was like 31-6 basically the entire game.
Mhm.
But the 49ers and Cowboys were actually weirdly in similar situations. They both just beat up on the two worst teams in the playoffs. Both their quarterbacks threw 0 interceptions and both had I think 300 yards in their playoff games. If I had to rank well, I will say the Cowboys. We got to stop the narrative that like Brock Purdy's better. He's the worst quarterback in the playoffs right now. People are saying that he's not, but he is. The Cowboys have a huge quarterback advantage when it comes to the 49ers. That's like one of you could like make the argument that the Cowboys defense is like on like at least on par with the 49ers. I don't think it is. But the one advantage where the Cowboys have the 49ers is the quarterback. And I think if the Cowboys want to win their next game, they have to utilize that advantage that they have over the 49ers. Purdy has to play a pretty clean game. He's probably playing the best defense he's played against all season. The Cowboys will get pressure. The thing I'm most interested in seeing is the Cowboys are probably going to consistently get pressure on Brock Purdy, and I want to see how he handles that. I want to see how Brock Purdy handles like pressure.
Yeah, because he's had a lot of time. Like Purdy's had a lot of time to
Yeah,
throw.
and I think that do you think the Cowboys are going to get pressure on Brock Purdy?
I think that both of the defenses here are gonna play
Mhm.
really well. I mean, they're probably the two best defenses in the league, right?
Well,
I think.
the thing is, I think the Cowboys have the guys to match up. Like if the 49ers do their like rush four like they normally do,
Mhm.
we can probably put two on Eric Armstead, like put Biotic and McGovern on him. We have two Hall of Famers on our O line. We have Tyron Smith, we have Zach Martin, and Tyler Smith has been a pretty good rookie. If rookie of the year wasn't just wide receivers and quarterbacks, he'd probably be up there because he's actually been a really good left guard. He's actually played a couple of positions. They kind of had to shift around because of O-line injuries. If we have to, we can put Jason Peters in the mix. I think we have the guys. I'm not saying like Dak Prescott's not going to get pressured at all, but I think we have the guys that can match up. But the thing that I think will make the difference in this game, if the Cowboys are going to win, is the pressure that Brock Purdy gets. Can Brock Purdy throw under pressure? Can Brock Purdy throw accurately under pressure? Is what I want to know. And what I want to see from Hurts. Wait, what do you want to see from Hurts against the Giants? Like, is there any improvements that you want to see that he's had or has had struggles this season? Or anything that you want to see kind of cleaned up in this game?
Not over the whole course of the season. There's a lot, but I'm not going to talk all right now. But I'm talking like late season.
Uh huh.
I mean, even late season, it's hard to say because he didn't play 16, 15, week 16, 15. But from his last performance in the Giants, I would say that there's not a lot that I want to clean up other than just like get a bigger lead so that my heart doesn't have to be racing the whole game if when the Giants score. But no, honestly, whenever Hurts played against the Giants, it's been a pretty free matchup for us. So
I
you know,
mean, did y'all play up against like their backups week 18 and won like 22-16
hmm
with your
um,
starters in?
what week was that?
Week 18, the score was like 22-16, right? The Giants had all their backups in, and like the Eagles had like all their starters in. I think the score was
Yeah,
pretty
but that
close.
I think
That Daniel Jones legacy game, man. Like
okay, yeah.
Jalen Hurts legacy game.
Yeah.
But maybe this is just last year. I haven't watched too many Eagles games. I've only seen what the Thursday night one and the Sunday night one because those are the ones that were on TV everywhere. But from what I saw from him is like I felt like he always kind of gave up on plays too easily and just like started running when like he didn't necessarily have to. I think I definitely saw some plays where I think Jalen Hurts could have thrown and he just decided to run, which sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Um, Especially in that the Commanders game, they got a lot of pressure on him. And were actually able to get to him a couple of times. I think sacks are actually a quarterback stat, or at least a majority of them are. Like Burrow, the amount of sacks he takes. I know people give him the O-line excuse, but I think you can also say sacks are from the quarterback holding onto the ball too much. I don't know how many times Hurts has been sacked. He's had a really good. I mean, the reason why I think Jalen Hurts, obviously, he's a good runner of the football. Just he's good at that. But I think he also has a good O line that can give him enough time if he decides to, where he can run. I mean, who's on the O line like Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson, Eric Dickerson, Malata.
Mhm.
I think every single one of them is a Pro Bowler, or at least a backup Pro Bowler. Like it's pretty good O line. Probably the best. Do they have the best O line in the league? Do you think they have the best O line in the league right
The
now?
Eagles, yeah,
Best line in the league right now.
I
Is there
think so.
any holes on defense that you're worried about when it comes to the Giants? Didn't Darius Slay kind of get a little, just
Yeah, but he's
maybe a
been,
little bit embarrassed against the Giants?
yeah, a bit. No, but I think he'll be fine. Lane Johnson's back now too, which is nice.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I think we'll go all right.
I don't know if your cornerback can't cover a 3rd and 30. I think that's something that you kind of have to worry about inherently, but especially to like a 40-year-old man. I don't know
Yeah.
who old T.Y. Hilton is. He might be 40. I'm not sure. I remember afterwards that like he was saying like, "Oh, you don't know football. It wasn't my fault." He said he was like looking for like safety help or something. Something that
hmm
actually worried me was that AJ Brown was really quick to just throw Gardner Minshew under the bus after the Saints game, which is like
hmm
I feel like you have to kind of just always, even if you're lying, you kind of have to always be like you don't want to throw your teammates under the bus, but AJ
Yeah.
Brown kind of just was like I don't know. AJ Brown's a good player, obviously. If I was an Eagles fan, I'd buy his jersey probably, but.
Yeah.
And I remember when that trade happened, I was really mad because like out of all the teams you could go to, and you decided the Eagles. Like, thanks a lot for that. Um,
Yeah.
but Honestly,
Anyway,
pretty good wild card weekend, right? I've had like a lot of templates. I'll send them to you after. Pretty good wild card weekend, right? Probably the best one in
yeah,
recent memory. I
yeah, definitely,
I
definitely.
don't remember another wild. I'm trying to think of wild card weekends that were better, but like there's not one in any recent history. I think it was better. This was a pretty good wild card weekend. Only two. Usually they're all bad games because it's like the
Mhm.
seventh seed against second seed or sixth seed against third seed, but pretty good in my
Anyway,
opinion. Hopefully
yeah,
both our teams can win. Your team is playing tomorrow. Is it
I'm
Saturday
rooting for
night?
both our teams this week at least. I'll say that. Yeah, we're playing tomorrow at 8:15.
Yeah,
So,
Saturday night for you.
see,
For me, it's Sunday night. I'm kind of mad that we had to play on Monday and the 49ers played on Saturday, and they've gotten like an extra day of resting. But it's cool. We'll still
yeah,
beat
that's
them,
fair.
hopefully. But yeah,
Hmm.
showing off the Eagle logo. Hold up. Yes.
You
Boom.
gotta get the Eagle logo in for the outro here.
Yeah. Cowboy logo. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, both our teams can advance to the NFC Championship because that'd be a
Hopefully.
classic. And I'm just saying the NFL scriptwriters they want this. They want Dak versus Hurts. This is what the NFL scriptwriters have wanted all season, and we haven't seen it yet. So we'll just see. Anyway, guys, hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Thank you guys for watching.